Hello everyone. This lecture is about automation technologies for manufacturing systems. To begin with, we can understand the importance of automation. You can see in the screen right now that even for a small product, this kind of sophisticated new technologies are now common in various manufacturing industries. This pictures gives you idea about the complete setup where you can find the conveyor where product is placed and robotic attachments to do operations to carry out machining and other operations. You can find out the panel control panel is also there, so automatically we can control the whole process, different stages of a manufacturing process. So that we'll discuss in this lecture. Another picture gives you idea of the assembly line where you put all these new machines, new technologies, new attachments in a line at different stages of manufacturing process. This picture gives you the importance of this advanced manufacturing technology. So where the situation is not health friendly, where you have some dangerous environmental condition, hazardous environmental conditions, where you cannot place labor or manpower, then you can use this kind of robotic setup, so you can produce product at higher temperatures without any loss in the quality. So largely in this lecture, we'll be discussing about automation fundamentals and the various hardware components used for automation. And the subjects which are important for this topic, you can study more about this topic in mechatronics, robotics, CNC, and CIMS, computer integrated manufacturing systems. So these are the main subjects which cover this kind of technology study and various fundamentals for automation. Let us begin with the basic definition of manufacturing system. A manufacturing systems can be defined as a collection of integrated equipment and human resources that performs one or more processing and or assembly operations on a starting work material, part or set of part. So by going through this basic definition, we can understand it's a collection of different equipments which are used to produce a part from raw material. As far as automation is concerned, it is technology by which a process is performed without human assistance. So our ultimate aim is to reduce the human assistance. While there are three main component of any automation system. The first one is power, second one is the program of instructions, and a control system. So you need a power to actuate the component of an automation system, a automatic manufacturing system. That you require a set of instructions, a program which includes the sequence of various stages of manufacturing process with particular time which you want to assign to a particular process. Similarly, you always need to have one control system that take care about the process, whether it is going on the right way and whether it is in a control situation. It doesn't go beyond the lower and higher limit of the parameter we are assigning. So you always need a control system to control the whole process. Now we'll talk about the types of automation, which is very important to understand. There are three types of automation: fixed automation, programmable automation, flexible automation. So now we'll see the difference among these three automation. Fixed automation includes processing steps. Those are fixed by the equipment configuration. So largely the processing steps, the manufacturing steps are fixed, and you require such automation in case where you have a standard product and you need production in a large quantity. So if your products are standard and the production quantity required is high, you go for this fixed automation. You can understand this with an example, like current example, where vaccine manufacturers are producing vaccines in large quantity while the product is same all the way. So you when the number of vaccine is required high, so in that case the vaccine is a standard product and you just set this manufacturing system as a standard sequence, and you can get, without changing this setup, you can get product in large quantity. Second one is the programmable automation. It gives you chance to change the program of instructions to allow production of different parts and products. So by changing minutely the setup, you can get different parts and products. So you can understand this with example of food industries, where the same kind of food is packed in different packs. So for smaller packs, you go for certain manufacturing system, and if you want to get that product packed in a big packet, then you can change the complete manufacturing setup, and you can get the same food in different sizes of products. So you can get different sizes of packets for the same food by changing by doing a minor change in the manufacturing setup. Next one is the flexible automation. It's an extension of the programmable automation, and no lost production time for setup changes or reprogramming. So you can have the flexibility, you have the facility to change the program where you have a customized products requirement. So you can understand this with an example of defense equipment manufacturers like Bharat Earth Mover Limited, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. They do production of various defense equipments. So if somehow you change the design, if you introduce a new product, then in case of flexible automation only, you have the facility that you can change, you can reprogram the complete setup. You can change make major changes in the manufacturing system according to the custom engineered products. So in that case, where the variety is more, production is less, you go for flexible automation. We can now get clear idea on this. By this figure, you can find the production quantity on x direction and product variety on y direction. So if your quantity is more, you go for fixed automation, and if your variety is more, you go for programmable automation. So you can understand this with the example of pen and car, where the standard products like pen, you need in a good quantity, so you go for fixed automation, you fix the complete manufacturing stages, and you get a good number of products in output. Now we will discuss briefly about features of fixed automation and other automations. So let us begin with fixed automation. It relates to high initial investment for specialized equipment. High production rate is the biggest advantage. Program of instructions you cannot change, and there is no flexibility to accommodate product variety. So you cannot go with this fixed automation if you have variety of products. Next comes the features of programmable automation. It is of high investment in general purpose equipment that can be reprogrammed, ability to cope up with product variety by reprogramming the equipment, lower production rate than the fixed automation. So now you have variety in the product, so you will get less number of products. So in case where you have a variety of product and your production demand is less, you go for programmable automation. Next comes the flexible automation. It is of high investment cost for custom engineered equipment and capable of producing a mixture of different parts and product without lost production time for changeovers and reprogramming. So we understood this with the example of defense equipment, where BEL and HAL produces defense equipments. So they are the custom engineered equipment. You do major change in the design and the requirement of any defense equipment, and accordingly you can change the manufacturing setup without losing the time and cost. So you get mixture of different defense equipments by this kind of automation. Now we talk about hardware components required for automation. They are largely sensors, actuators, interface devices, and process controllers. So we'll see how what these components are and how they work. Sensors are devices that converts a physical variable, force and temperature, into a more convenient physical form, electrical voltage, for purpose of measuring the variable. So here the intention is to measure the variable like force and temperature, but you get output in terms of electrical signal or electrical reading. So once you want to measure such quantity, that particular quantity is converted into electrical signal and you get reading on your meter. So these are the sensors which are converting one variable in a form to another form and you get the output. There are two types of sensors, continuous and discrete. And sensors you can understand with the very common example of door opening. You can find in various malls and offices where door is opened automatically. Once you move towards the door, it opens, and once you cross the door, it closes. So there are sensors which sense the distance. There are rays, and if some obstructions is there, the sensor senses that obstruction, that yes, some person is there. So once that rays are obstructed, sensors give signal to the actuator that someone is coming. Then actuator actuates it to mechanical. It does mechanical work, and it opens the door. And once that sensor senses that nobody is there, or person has passed, it again gives a signal to the actuator that now nobody is there in the range of that sensor, and actuator again do the mechanical work and closes the door. So this is the common example by which you can understand the sensors. Now comes to actuators. These are the devices that converts a control signal into a physical action. So like I said earlier, you can understand this with door opening, where sensors send signal to the actuators and they do mechanical work. They actuate the mechanism, and that mechanism works and the door closes. The action is typically mechanical, such as change in position of a work table or door closing. You can understand this with the control signal is usually low level, and an amplifier may be required to increase the power of the signal to drive the actuator. So sometimes you need amplifier that amplifies the signals to do the mechanical task. Then there are certain interface devices which allow the process to be connected to the controller and vice versa. So sensor signals from the process are fed into the controllers, and command signal from the controller are sent to the process. So sensor signals are first sent to these controllers. They control the whole process. They check the feasibility, they check the lower and higher limit of the system, and then they send the signal to the process. So these are the connecting a technology between sensors and actuators. Then there are process controllers, and we require these real-time computer process controller because they respond to incoming signal from process, transmit command to the process, execute certain actions at specific points, and communicate with other computers that may be connected to the process. So once if all the machines are controlled by a single computer, the individual systems on those machines give signal, give information to a single master computer, where it can see whether the operations are in control or not. So if you set up a particular temperature, for example 100 degrees centigrade, and if somehow in manufacturing process the temperature rises above the 100 degrees centigrade, then these controllers send signal to the master computer that at a particular point of this manufacturing system, the temperature is going beyond the limit. So then accordingly that master computer cut off the supply to this machine to stop the machine, so that fire does not take place. So this is how we control the whole manufacturing setup, and process controller are doing this kind of activity, this kind of control to the all manufacturing machines which are being used in manufacturing system. Then very important element of automation, programmable logical controllers. Many of us have heard about this. It is microcomputer based controller that uses stored instructions in programmable memory to implement logic, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic control of functions through digital or analog input output modules for controlling machines and processes. So you can understand this with an example where you can see many of you have seen a automated machine where the part is placed on a conveyor. So using this programmable logic controller, you can set the time of loading the component. Then you can set the time of conveyor start. Then you give instruction conveyor run for 10 minutes. Then you give next instruction to the machine that conveyor stops after 10 minutes. Then machine starts, next machine run for 10 minutes, then machine stop, then conveyor starts, then conveyor run for 5 minutes. So like this you give sequence of operation to the machine. You set all these sequences with particular timings, and these are stored in memory of this programmable logical controller. So once you set all the instructions with different timings of operation, these are stored in these PLC, and once you start the process, it automatically starts the conveyor, stops the conveyor, starts, then a PLC starts the machine. So in overall this process, you did not require any manpower. You only require a skilled technician who can make this kind of instructions in PLC, who can control the PLC, and once you set these instructions, PLC automatically does all the operations. You do not require to change anything in between this process. Then in last we'll see the diagram of PLC, the logical controller diagram. You can see it has processor, memory, it requires power supply, it has programming device, and input and output are attached to this processor. So power supply is always required. Then you have a separate programming device. You can program the complete sequence of operation. Then you send that program to processor. That program is stored in memory. Then it checks about the feasibility of the program. If that program goes beyond the control limit, it gives you a warning, and once it is okay with the permissible limits, as per the input we give to the processor, it gives output to the machine. So that machine is completely controlled by this processor. So individual processor we use for large machines. So this is how programmable logic controllers are used. So all of us who are interested in automation in manufacturing system, they must focus on these kind of technology, where kind of automation we are using, the hardware which are very important to study. And this kind of lecture is just to give you idea about the technologies which are being used, the hardware which are used for automation. But for detailed listeners, the viewers are always recommended to go for reference textbooks which are having a detail on this. So you always need to go through standard textbooks to get more on this. So purpose of this lecture was to give you idea, and it is now expected that students will go get into more detail by going through the standard textbooks. Thanks.